This video that you are about to see is made up of 2 short films made by Mr. F.C.C. Watts and his daughter Marion. Fred Watts was an old friend and pupil. He was also the chairman of the Rationalist Press Association and of Chaterson's Limited, who published Alexander's books. Marion, as a child, was a pupil of the little school at Ashley Place. The first film was made in November 1949 just as an experiment, without any script or special preparation. The second film was made in March 1950, and this time it was arranged to have a pupil who had never met Alexander before for him to work on, and some suggestions had been made as to the things that he might demonstrate for us. You may remember that Alexander, FM as he was always called, was born in January 1869. He celebrated his 80th birthday in 1949, and so, at the time that these films were made, he was in his 81st and 82nd years. He'd suffered a stroke in December 1947 when he was 78. But these pictures are evidence of his remarkable recovery. Here we see him sitting in his teaching room at 16 Ashley Place, London. Since no special plan had been made, he did not know quite what to expect or what he would be asked to do. What we are seeing here is just his spontaneous and characteristic response to the camera. Here, Margaret Goldie came in unexpectedly and was immediately asked to stand in front of the camera, and FM started to work on her. He is sitting her in the chair and standing her up again, ensuring that she is moving lightly and freely and that she is lengthening in stature. She looks a little startled at first, and who is to blame her? He continues to see that she is light and free, and that she is breathing freely, and that her neck is free, and that her head is going forward and up. As the head leads, the body follows. Now we see FM again, just playing to the camera. You note his poise, his alertness, the brightness of his eyes. You would scarcely believe that he'd suffered a stroke less than 2 years ago. This is the beginning of the second film. The pupil is a young man who had previously had about a dozen lessons from me. But this is the first time that he'd met FM. You see Alexander's first appraisal, and a few words are exchanged. Then he prepares to take him into the chair. He secures the lengthening and the widening. His hand on the top of the head ensures that the head is freely poised and that it goes forward and up. The hand on the back of the neck establishes the connection between the head and the trunk and ensures that the neck is free and that it does not stiffen and that the head is not pulled back. You will notice how Alexander himself always uses his full height and maintains his own length all the time he is working. He takes the pupil back in the chair, and then, as he takes him to standing, the pupil visibly lengthens, the head leading and the body following. The chair, incidentally, has been moved for the purpose of filming. Normally, a pupil would be sitting with back to the picture on the wall and facing towards us and towards a window on the other side of the room. Here you see a continuation of the lengthening and widening process, the expansion of the chest, and the freedom of the neck. Note how Alexander's hands move with supple strength to bring about an antagonistic connection or stretch between the head and the shoulders and the back. Here, Alexander is demonstrating his rib movement in saying the whispered R. Notice that there is more movement on the right side than on the left, the side that was affected by his stroke. Here he shows how easily he can squat, and remember that he was in his 82nd year. Now we see him doing the whispered R. It has sometimes been objected that his smile was not very obvious, but it is a smile that frees all the facial muscles and the jaw. It's largely a smile of the eyes, a smile of genuine amusement. Now he demonstrates a trick that he was fond of performing, passing his leg over the back of the chair. And he repeats it again. Here he is showing his hands to the pupil and pointing out the misshapen joints. His hands look arthritic, but he did not have any arthritis. He was born with them, and so called the baby with the old man's hands. Finally, we have a shot of John Skinner, myself, Walter Carrington, Fred Watts, and FM, and that is the end of the film.